Okay, somebody said watch Mudahar's response to this. Do I care that much? Shouldn't I just watch this? Well, I don't care about Mudahar's.
Hello!
Hi!
This is probably the final update to the Stop Killing Games campaign.
This is the guy who started it all. Good luck.
Though I'm coming at you a little bit like a time traveler would. It'll make sense in a minute. As a refresher, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement to stop publishers from effectively destroying video games they have already sold to customers. Now, we've gone about this in many ways, but it's easiest to divide this up by things we've already done and things we can still do.
Okay.
Because there's about a dozen things we've already done. Yeah, in fact, here's a list if you want to pause this. Going over this again will be a video in itself. I'll talk more about some of this towards the end. So that just leaves things we can still do, which are only 2 items. One is for the UK to sign a government petition to bring this issue before Parliament. Though, keeping it real, I'm not terribly optimistic about this one, since the government response has been a mess by every definition. It's a long and boring story, but the short version is it's hit a bureaucratic roadblock and will stay stuck unless it gets more signatures. But the one that has a lot of power, so much so I think it could change the course of gaming history, is the European Citizens Initiative. Now, I said I'm approaching this like a time traveler because with the trajectory we're on, these are both going to fail. So I figure, why wait until they actually do to tell people? Both the petitions end in July. The Citizens Initiative in particular on July 31st. This video probably won't change the timeline, it's just a last-ditch attempt to wake people up on it. The European Citizens Initiative failing kind of stings. Again, this one is crazy powerful, but the hurdle we just couldn't get past was that it requires 1 million signatures from citizens of EU countries.
Damn.
And we've only made it just under halfway. That's really too bad, because I have high confidence this would have solved the problem of publishers destroying video games. Now, why do I say that? What a lot of people don't realize is that in the EU especially, it's almost
Just wanted you to see the clips of Pirate calling all this stupid shit and being more unhinged in his streams. Mudahar shows some of those clips in a video, that's all. Oh, wait, what? Link the Mudahar video then.
state of lawlessness regarding the practice of game destruction. Okay, I don't want to put people to sleep here, but the quick legal argument is that the vast majority of games with an online requirement say they can be terminated at any time for any reason. Or Blizzard likes to say any or no reason. But according to the EU Commission, that might be a violation of Directive 93/13 EEC, which protects...
Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and we got a pretty big update to that Stop Killing Games story, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Stop Killing Games, for anybody that doesn't know, yes, 2 days ago I made a video where I talked about Stop Killing Games. I talked about how the initiative, basically was kind of at its finishing line, and there really wasn't a lot of positivity in terms of it crossing its finish line. Now, of course, since then, ladies and gentlemen, there's been plenty of content creators that have covered this story. Charlie, me, obviously Ross, the person who spearheaded this campaign to start off with. And, 2 days ago, the actual initiative was at like 55,000 signatures. Today, ladies and gentlemen, in 2 days, it crossed 51%. Now, I really think a lot of this comes from the fact that obviously one of the biggest voices that is now talking about Stop.
Wait, it's this video instead? What?
Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and today I've got a bit of a sad little gaming video to talk about. Now, one of my favorite channels on the internet, Accursed Farms, Ross, the fellow behind something known as Stop Killing Games, an initiative that's simple: stop killing video games. You and I love playing video games. We probably play video games released literally today. Okay, there's a game called Death Stranding 2. I'm pretty excited for it. It's coming out in a couple days. Boom, excited. But I also play a lot of old stuff. I was playing Silent Hill 3 in a couple videos ago. Okay, like on a PS2 emulator. I play old stuff, new stuff all the time. I think video games is a lot like art. When people go out and they listen to like Beethoven and shit like that, music from like back in the day. It's stuff that's preserved. And when it comes to video, maybe the end of Stop Killing Games, the legality of allowed. But see, the problem is because it requires a connection to the internet. When that server goes offline, this game is effectively killed. It's dead. Now you might remember, obviously, with Stop Killing Games when we first talked about it, Ubisoft had a game called The Crew, which went offline. They took away people's actual video game purchase, and it just kind of went up and poof into the air.
Damn.
This is what's going to happen with Need for Speed if things don't get addressed.
Damn.
Now, again, to give you an idea, imagine if you go to a store, right, and you have a copy of Need for Speed. You go up, you go to the cashier, you're like, hey man, can I have Need for Speed? And they're like, well, sure thing. It'll be $59.99. And you're like, okay. And you go home, you install your game, and it's like all good. You hold on. Well, of course, I feel like during the Stop Killing Games, an increasing number of so again, you're looking at hill battling finals. So my audience are fucking 100. Why this you can make change happen there? Then developers who are thinking about sunsetting their games have to think about one of the biggest markets, and usually that'll just if all of a sudden Halo Infinite was supposed to be like at its end of life, right? Halo Infinite is a live service game to an extent. Now imagine at the end of its life, who's the company behind it? 343 Interactive or Microsoft. If at the end of its life they were like, all right, we're not going to service the multiplayer, we're not going to do whatever, but we'll cut the tether to the actual internet services and allow you to like maybe play a LAN match, do something split screen, play the single player, do some Forge stuff. We're not going to give you access to obviously matchmaking servers because they're not there anymore. We're also not going to give you leaderboards or things like that require a server to be active, right? So that's a reasonable experience. Similar to like The Crew, right? Like imagine if Ubisoft was like, all right, we're removing The Crew from sale, we'll give you access to this game's single player component, which that's the majority of it. You just can't do anything with the online leaderboards or online matchmaking because reasonably that doesn't exist, and reasonably is a strong word here. Now when it comes to Ross, obviously this is not supposed to be some crazy drama between creators or anybody. It's just supposed to be gamers who look at good law, good objectives, and think, yes, I care about video games, I want video games preserved, let's just try to get these companies to at least respect video games and their preservation going forward. It's something that should be, bipartisan, something that should just not be a divisive effort.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? That's a morbid way to put it, but like music, like movies, like software, like other softwares in general, not just video games, you want to make sure that this stuff lasts hundreds of years in the future, and you want to make sure you lay the groundwork now so that going into the future from 2025, 2026 onwards, we as gamers don't have to worry about future games facing this crisis today.
So just understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically, we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them. And as much as they want it to be about specifically games, whereas a single-player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists.
So again, this is a distinction that wasn't even being made. Nobody's talking about just single-player games or multiplayer games or anything of this nature, okay? We're just talking necessarily about every game under the sun, okay? That's realistically everything that's it. And Ross made a pretty good slide in his video where he talked about it too, like just as a good example. For instance, games that are sold as a one-time purchase that don't require a connection. So say you're playing Shenmue Shenmue 1 and 2, the HD collection, well, congratulations, you're not even part of the equation. The game is just a one-time purchase. It's a purely single-player experience. No one gives a shit, okay? It's not being destroyed. As long as you have the disc and functional hardware, you're good. Game sold is a one-time purchase with no stated expiration date that require a connection to the publisher or affiliated parties. So yes, in certain cases like this, you're talking about games like I mentioned earlier, Need for Speed, where you buy it once, but you need to connect to EA servers to play it. Well, going forward, developers and publishers should have some plan going forward so that down the road, when the server is stopped, they can at least push a patch to the game to give you reasonable functionality. That's not outlandish. Games that are completely free, again, no impact. If you want to download Jets Rampage, the fucking like PC game from like back in 2003, you can download that and play it just fine. No issues there. Microtransactions for games sold is a one-time purchase with no stated expiration date. The publisher will be required to implement an end-of-life plan when support ends, so the customer's microtransaction would not be permanently disabled. Imagine if you bought a video game, even if it's a single player or if it's a multiplayer game, you bought like a $20 skin. Fuck, there's a $40 skin for like Rainbow Six Siege now that I saw for Valkyrie. Imagine if you spent $40 on something and, you know, down the road, if they ever wanted to remove it, they clearly can, you would lose access to your $40 purchase right there and then, which again is insane for a microtransaction, but that's the world we live in. Games that are sold as a service with a stated expiration date, they would tend to require publishers to have some sort of end-of-life build when support ends. But they would probably fail as there's no basis in consumer law for this. Only justification would be via art and culture preservation laws, which are very weak. Now, a good example of this would be an MMO, right? Like something like Final Fantasy XIV Online. Now, there's no way for you to play that game without an online subscription or a connection to Square Enix's servers. But let's just go down the road and say, all right, well, fuck it. No basis in consumer law for this. Down the road, if they ever wanted to remove it, they clearly can. You would lose access to your $40 purchase right there and then, which again is insane for a microtransaction, but that's the world we live in. Games that are sold as a service with a stated expiration date, they would tend to require publishers to have some sort of end-of-life build when support ends. But they would probably fail as there's no basis in consumer law for this. Only justification would be via art.
Wait, what? Someone in chat said nobody wants this for Pokemon Go. You said, what does any of this have to do with Pokemon Go?
Culture preservation laws, which are very weak. Now, a good example of this would be an MMO, right? Like something like Final Fantasy XIV Online. Now, there's no way for you to play that game without an online subscription or a connection to Square Enix's servers. But let's just go down the road and say, all right, well, fuck it. What about like down the road, if you know they're done with their game, can we possibly have a build of it, you know, without connecting to your servers? And maybe Square Enix could provide that. They certainly don't need to. And sometimes you get lucky with popular MMOs like FF14, where like the original version of it, there are private servers that you can access, and you can play to have some preserved build of the game that's there. But I'm going to touch upon this a little bit going forward because it has a lot to pertain to how Pirate Software has kind of like talked about the situation. So like in Ross's video, one thing that he points out really well, actually, that I think really nips the point here is that when it comes to Blizzard's own terms of service, right, where Blizzard reserves the right to terminate the agreement at any time for any reason or for no reason, with or even without notice to you. So for instance, if you buy a game from them, they can just remove access right there. And the thing is, the whole point is not to argue about this, it's to make sure that this whole clause doesn't fucking exist. Because you can understand how this is entirely hostile to the actual person, right? Like imagine buying Diablo 4 and not...
Okay. One more side quest.
I have no doubt most of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months I've been a lot happier, glowing, really radiant. You can tell probably just from my voice alone and this striking smile. So what is the secret to this newfound happiness of mine, the one trick doctors don't want you to know? I haven't been online as much. I've been going outside far more frequently, spending time in the real world. And as such, I'm sure many of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months, internet drama hasn't been a huge focal point of the channel because I haven't seen a whole bunch of it. I haven't kept up with the vast majority of it. And of course, occasionally I've still dipped my tootsies in some of it, like if there's something particularly wacky going on, and I still cover like news and crazy shit going on with aliens and all of that kind of thing, or if there's like a really cringe, you know, prankster that got arrested or something. Nope, shitting all over it. But it has been on live support, and Pirate Software did play a big role in that because of 2 videos he made as well as a stream, shitting all over it. And that's not even doing it justice. He was full-blown tooting on this, he was shitting on it with some fart on top. And a lot of what he was saying about Stop Killing Games wasn't accurate. It was a misrepresentation of the initiative. And the guy behind it, the guy spearheading it, Ross, finally set the record straight on a lot of the misconceptions that Pirate Software helped to put out there and kind of exacerbate these thought processes that just weren't accurate for what the initiative was actually aiming to do. He finally set the record straight, and I of course wanted to talk about it as someone who does actually care about it. And as I said, I've been a little more off the grid. I'm on a fucking farm, so I've been, you know, living off the Lord's land recently, and I've missed a lot of the internet happenings. So Pirate Software's previous anime arcs of drama, like with World of Warcraft, and the one after that, 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 I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to. I only got little tiddlywinks, little morsels of lore about it in a few clips, so I never really even understood what was going on there. So Pirate Software's response to everything that happened yesterday really caught me by surprise. That was a subversion of my expectations, bigger than Game of Thrones Season 8.
Yeah, Hutcher, I did. I think it's really hilarious to me that that entire community is so butt mad at me for putting out a video 10 months ago about their stuff and it not being refuted, and now it's my fault that everything is going wrong for them.
I cannot believe his ego. His ego is so out of control. I feel like he's only a week or two away from exclusively referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. And that's the truth because Pirate Software said so. Some shit like that. It's crazy how he's responded. The smugness is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening to it. And he goes on that same.
Allowing self-hosting isn't that hard unless the code base is messy. It takes time and money, but it's doable and wouldn't kill profitability or stop online games from being made. Devs even use local servers during testing. Written by, signed, Game Dev. Thank you, Ethan. True.
Talking point multiple times in the clip about how like, oh, I guess I'm fully to blame. I guess because I made those videos 10 months ago, it's my fault entirely that this whole thing crashed and burned. Yep, oh boy, time to play a sad song on the world's smallest violin for the Stop Killing Games movement, all because Big Bad Pirate Software took it all down by himself. Like, it's crazy. No one's saying that. Like, there's no one out there that is saying it's entirely Pirate Software's fault that Stop Killing Games hasn't been more successful in its endeavors. But there's irrefutable evidence that you had a detrimental effect, a majorly damaging effect on Stop Killing Games because of your misinformation that you spread about it in 2 videos and across all your streams, and not once have you bothered to correct that record. And he has said that it hasn't been refuted in 10 months. That is fish paste. That is turbo horseradish. Go to your own comment section on your videos to see everyone refuting you, as well as the innumerable other gamers and voices out there that have taken down those talking points and debunked a lot of them and proven that you just didn't understand it. And that is the big problem. No one hates Pirate Software because he doesn't agree with Stop Killing Games. The reason so many people are angry at him, myself included here, you can disagree with the movement all you want. If you don't like the initiative, I'm not your fucking dad. You make your own choices there. But the reason so many people, myself included, do not like how Pirate Software is handling all this is he is outright refusing to just admit any level of fault, that he was wrong about anything. And that couldn't be more clear from these clips as well as his tweets that he's made. It's especially his tweets that really sent me off the fucking rails here, off my board. Let's start with this little nugget here that he deleted from last night. So he tweeted directly at Ross, the guy behind Stop Killing Games, talking about how he made those videos 10 months ago, and since then, his community has been nothing but hateful. A scourge, a fucking tyrannid threat that he must destroy. Your community is fucking rabid, and it's shit to deal with for anyone on the other side of the argument. Why do you think I haven't talked about this shit in 10 months? Why do you think we auto-mute anyone bringing it up in chat? Because it's been rage bait and shit flinging the entire time. And just goes on about like how he is the victim of Ross's toxic, terrible community, which is hilariously hypocritical coming from Pirate Software, when in his videos and his streams, he makes it very clear and is very rude about how much he dislikes not only Ross, but the movement. And it's not like he's being very professional and polite about it, buttoned up. Listen to it.
So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm gonna actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Ross and his community that are actually the assholes here. Brother, come on, you can't possibly be calling the wambulance with a side of french fries here about people being mean to you when you are literally the one that started the shit-flinging and name-calling. And by the way, Ross never even addressed this for 10 months because he didn't want to dilute the initiative into just having it be boiled down to drama between creators, which I think was actually very big of him. The only reason he's talking about it now is because it's at the end of its life, and so many people still don't understand it because of someone like Pirate Software misrepresenting it, so he's finally setting the record straight there. Anyway, he did delete that tweet, but just a little while ago, he made a new tweet, a very long tweet, as well as a series of tweets under it in regards to this whole thing. And in all these words, all this mumbo-jumbo, not once does he say he was wrong about anything. In fact, he just continues to double down, even proudly stating he is doubling down. Wow, how incredibly noble, doubling down on things you are provably, blatantly wrong about. We don't need to hit the Jumbotron for the replay on yesterday's video going over so many of the things that he was incorrect about in regards to the initiative, but the point is, that is an issue.
Okay. That's our side quests. Does he talk about Thor at all in this video then, or is this just him summarizing all of the efforts of the Stop Killing Games stuff? Do we even need to watch this? Oh shit, he does.
History, even if it's for the better. And third, if they back this, then a million people might mob them to back something else, and then there's no end to it. So I actually can understand some people wanting to sit this out. I mean, yeah, it really sucks that we can't get enough attention on this badly needed change in the games industry, but I'm not shocked either. Honestly, I'm already punching way above my weight class on this.
The Dr. K video with Pirate Software really mind-fucked me because I knew something was off about Thor, but because he came across as a helpful game dev, the unsurmountable ego felt somewhat justifiable. Because the guy was helping you out in some way, yeah?
My main promotion video for it got a little under 250,000 views, and about 15% of my audience is from EU countries who are eligible to sign. So that means I shouldn't have expected much more than 30 to 40,000 signatures from my audience, and we're over 10 times that. It's almost like a lot of people out there don't like having their games destroyed. Anyway, most of the criticism I've seen for how I've run this campaign kind of comes down to be more popular. Yeah, sure, maybe everybody else knows how to do that. I don't. I kind of view that critique as similar to don't be poor financial advice.
Well, Pirate Software is posting DMs with Charlie. I covered a topic I'm passionate about. You refused to listen to at all. 2 hours we spent in circles with me explaining my perspective about your behavior, just being met with a condescending attitude about me being wrong, that you misrepresented anything. Then your statement mentions our talk with not a single peep about what my conversation with you was actually meant to focus on, which was your inability to recognize how you misled people about the initiative. You make it seem like I'm just trying to convert you to Stop Killing Games or something, no matter how many times I tell you it's fine not to support it, but what's not fine is your response to the very valid criticism of your misrepresentation. You feel I misinformed people, and I feel I didn't. Your way or the highway goes both ways. Whoa. Posting a video response instead of continuing the talk with me is absolutely high school behavior. Was hoping to have an actual conversation with you, but both of us are stubborn and neither of us understand one another clearly. Now that you've sent your fan base after me with that, I'm done chatting though. Ooh.
And that's from people who support the campaign. For all the support and fair coverage we've received, there's been some opposition too. Though I want to say 80, maybe even 90% of people who are against the initiative are against.
Look at the top, the DMs are cut off. Look at the top of what? The scroll bar. What, there's more if you scroll up? I can't scroll up because this is just a picture. So it's hard for me to scroll up on just the picture because I just have a picture. So I don't know what you want me to do with that, but they should make it so you can scroll up on things that there are pictures of. That would be an easy thing to add to pictures. He's saying that Thor only posted a part of the DMs. Gotcha.
Against it because they think it's doing something it's not. For example, the #1 criticism about the initiative that we've never been able to shake is that it's unworkable because you can't expect publishers to support games forever. Yeah, we know. That's why we've never asked for that. I must have said this 100 times now. It was written on the website from day one, but this keeps coming up over and over again. See, that's the thing. As soon as you say 3 words on requiring end-of-life plans, gamers especially will jump to some conclusion, and I never know where they're going to land. Ironically, non-gamers tend to be much better at understanding the initiative because they're not coming with a whole bag full of assumptions. A couple other criticisms are how this would violate copyright law by forcing publishers to give up their intellectual property. No, it wouldn't. Some of you may want to pause this part. Or how this won't work because of end-user license agreements. That's also not a problem. Or how this isn't possible because publishers already have agreements with other companies and don't have the rights to distribute that code. We're aware of that. Yes, the initiative is still possible. Those are the ones I've seen most organically. Beyond that, there's a clear patient zero where others come from. Okay, I really don't want to do this next part, but it's become a liability for the campaign for me not to. Our biggest critic by far is YouTuber and streamer Pirate Software, who goes by Thor. If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about. I am not saying that lightly. I will prove it in a minute. Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been. Remember that list of coverage on the campaign? Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those lists, except Asmongold. And the only video Asmongold had on this bigger than Thor's was about Thor's video. So for all practical purposes, Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is. That's a bit loaded though. In this case, I'm using the second definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first. This video came out right as we were building momentum, then except for one boost in Germany, the signature started drying up like clockwork. This put me in kind of a no-win scenario too, because if I ignored it, then a lot of people are going to get misinformed about the campaign. And if I did a response video, which is not something I wanted to do anyway, then it might look like drama farming, which could understandably turn off a lot of people from the campaign, because it's not about that at all. So I quickly made this video trying to clear up all misconceptions and concerns about the initiative, with timestamps for everyone's questions, hoping the truth would eventually come out.
Yikes.
I can see now that was a mistake. I should have just embraced the drama. To this day, I'm still getting frequent comments and emails about the same falsehoods about the campaign that originated in this video.
Okay.
Well, now I have nothing to lose. If we don't get the signatures, then none of this matters anyway. So if this campaign is failing because of me not talking about this, then I'll at least correct history here on the way down. I'll get this over with and go over what I think are the biggest points of Pirate Software's videos. I'm not going to go over everything because collectively Thor's made hours of video on both me and the movement. I'd be here forever. Believe me, I could address smaller things too, and kind of already have. All right, let's start. Okay, point number 1. Thor does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So if those don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them. And as much as they want it to be about specifically games, where it is a single-player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists, instead of just targeting single-player, always online games.
No, that's not what it is. Stop Killing Games includes single-player games, but nothing about it is specific to them. He completely made that up, and I have no idea where he got that impression. This is what I mean. It's harder for gamers to understand this because they come with so many assumptions. It's like that saying about doctors being the worst patients. So let's clear this up. It's the first line on the website. Stop Killing Games as a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. But the movement includes all this stuff from earlier, and he was mostly talking about the initiative. Well, the short version is the initiative is about requiring publishers to have end-of-life plans for games they've sold to customers in the future. So when they shut them down, customers can continue running them without their support. The long version depends on what kind of transaction is being made. As you can see, it's not easy to explain in a soundbite. But if you notice, we don't make a distinction between single-player and multiplayer games. That's because the law doesn't either. So why make this even harder? Both the movement and the law are making distinctions on how games are sold. Also, that part he said about it affecting all live service games? Yes and no. It would affect most live service games in the future, but the initiative is not retroactive. So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about converting multiplayer games to single-player. Once again, he made that up, and I have no idea why he thought that.
How many games have you wanted to play that you no longer can? This is so barely an issue and requires so much work from devs. Why would we listen to Ross, who has never seen code in his life? So I actually think the strongest criticism is actually that. The reality is, not to be mean to you guys, or I don't know if you guys care about this, like there's probably not that many old games that people actually super want to play. This would be a thing that you would be doing hardcore for like video game hobbyists or like hardcore video game. But even like saying hardcore video game enjoyers, it wouldn't really, it would be certain niches of it because most people want to play like the newer games that everybody's playing and all that shit. So this would be kind of a niche-ish thing. That's probably the best response to it. It's just not worth it. I don't believe that this would require so much more work from devs, though. I think that's bullshit. It would probably require a little bit more work, though, but...
Transitioning an entire multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single-player, rebuilding everything in the entire game. How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy XIV? You're just going to make all the raids soloable? Imagine the day that World of Warcraft shuts down, and suddenly you have to make it a single-player game for every individual that ever bought the game. That's what they're asking for.
No.
Because they
Jesus, what?
would have to sunset live service games as a single-player experience. The idea that suddenly you need to make every single live service game playable single-player offline? No, dude.
Correct. No. This one is particularly baffling to me because I've heard most counter-arguments before, but until 4, I've never heard this one. That we want the industry to convert all multiplayer games into single-player ones. I keep saying it. You never know where gamers are going to take this.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it.
It is vague, and because of that, it won't.
He never has that light bulb moment. Well, he is correct in that statement. It's almost as if that's not what the initiative is asking for. But those were his streams with a smaller audience. What does he say in his big YouTube video with over 1 million views that he had time to research?
If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single-player experience, and then taking away support in the future...
now he's changed it again and is making up how it's about single-player games are advertised. What is he doing?
It needs to be specific about the business practice it's trying to defeat, which is specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single-player game, but adding online-only functionality that is not necessary and doesn't add any gameplay elements. That's the problem.
No, that's not it at all.
And there are some people who say, well, just make it all single-player.
Like
well,
you?
I'll explain that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single-player, you have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. These are two different ideologies, and that's okay to have two different ideologies. I just won't agree with it.
But those aren't the ideologies. Nothing in the initiative is asking to convert games to single-player.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always-online single-player games.
Yeah, so why does he keep bringing it up? This is a total red herring.
If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms.
No, he's getting a new thing wrong now. We're not against them existing. We're against them being destroyed with no recourse for the customer. Just use logic. If we didn't like them in the first place, why would we care if they're being destroyed? He says he gets it, but he doesn't.
Let's talk about the actual bad business practices. In the case that a studio is making a live service game, and they sell it to you as a product, they say that you are purchasing the game, or you are buying the game, when in reality you're actually purchasing or buying a license to that game. I think that we should be fighting about that. The initiative is not trying to call that out specifically. It's trying to say that all games need to stay in a functional, playable state.
Yes!
Which is not calling out the language that is being used to manipulate the player. Call that out specifically.
Okay, I don't know if he's doing this intentionally. I'll be charitable and assume he's not. But this is some serious obfuscation. He's complaining that the initiative isn't focused on another topic he made up. I mean, what is that logic? Hey, the initiative doesn't address how Capcom changed the look of Dante in the Devil May Cry reboot either. That may as well be what he's saying there. I am not aware of a game on the planet with a license agreement that says you are not buying a license. Our problem is not with licenses failing to inform people. Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. That sounds pretty clear to me. Our problem is those terms are so hostile to consumers and the medium that they should be taken off the table entirely. This needs regulation. Forget video games. If you look at basic commerce for hundreds of years, when you paid money, you either got to keep what you paid for, or if it was a service, you were told when your access ends. The vast majority of online-only games do neither of those. The games industry is trying to upend basic commerce. I think you have to go back to feudalism before neither of those things are true. Why even have consumer laws if you have no rights?
If you try to tell me that every...
This is kind of true. I feel like this came up for some game recently, but I can't remember. Like, the launch was so disastrous, they said they were going to shut down the servers in like 2 months. Now, in practice, this probably wouldn't happen because you have millions of players on a game. You're probably not going to shut down the service because you're making money doing it. But like in practice, but in theory, like a company could theoretically, like Blizzard could release a new game, like Diablo 5, sell 10 million copies, and then instantaneously shut down the servers, and you basically have a bricked game that you just paid money for. And according to the end user license agreement, you kind of have accepted that. That's a little bit fucking weird, right? Oh, somebody said it was Concord, but they gave refunds to everybody.
Every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them.
Oh no! He wheeled out that line about publishers having to support the game forever. He was literally watching the video earlier where it says it won't do that in big letters. That wasn't enough. We just can't stop gamers from going there, even when we spell it out. I admit, guys, this part hurts. To see the biggest voice on this issue get it wrong again and again and again, then put that same wrong information on blast to a far bigger audience than we can reach. It hurts. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what we're asking for. Now, to be fair, it sounded like he was getting a little closer in this video. Yeah, despite being called 2, it's at least the 4th video he did on this.
You want that to stay in a functional playable state? That means the devs have to release either server binaries or somehow carve off the game to be a single-player experience now.
That's better, but he's still talking about converting the single player right to the end. He never completely got it. So Pirate Software did not understand the initiative. Maybe still doesn't. That means the majority of his critique is about things it would not do, like kill all MMOs.
If that passes, enjoy never playing an MMO again for the rest of your life. And taking away from every other person that plays MMOs.
It really wouldn't. And I've explained why in that video, but the short version is companies would have to stop liking money for that to happen. Lots of money. But his number one criticism is that he thinks the initiative is vague.
Incredibly vague. Too vague. Very vague and vague. It's vague. It's vague. That is vague. Too vague. Vaguely vague. Incredibly vague. Vaguely worded. Vague. 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 This is vague.
This goes on. Well, from Thor's perspective, his logic is pretty sound for this part. But the thing about logic is it's only as good as your assumed truths. And he said multiple times now that he thinks the initiative is only about single-player games. So since he's expecting the thing he made up, but that's not what the initiative is asking for, he thinks it's vague. Because for him, it is.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games. It is vague.
Yeah, in fact, if we look at that long definition again, let's add a subsection just for Thor. Single-player games with an online DRM check. Those would already fall under this broader category. So Thor is expecting this. Again, I don't know why, but instead he's seeing an initiative that covers all of this.
Okay, I'm bored. Asan responds to Ethan's call out on his Zoran collab.
It's crazy. To make matters worse, he's so fucking sad. He's such a sad, pathetic fucking loser. He's doing this on his 40th birthday, apparently, as I've been told from chat.
Like he's not religiously stalking and hounding every single thing that Ethan posts anywhere.
Mentally unwell charlatan.
Hassan is actually sounding more and more like Trump.
Pathetic.
True.
Stupid. Hateful.
Any more adjectives?
This is the reason why he is alone in this world. And the only people he can have around him that are not his immediate family members are people he pays to be around him. People he pays to baby him every day, to say, no, you're a big boy. Just tell her he's your stalker who has sexual fantasies about you and won't stop fan fiction writing about you. Any HR millennial woman will eat that shit up. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's not even defamation. This is a cease and desist. Like, this is a fucking... this is stalker shit. Oh.
Okay. Who was in the wrong here? Oh, my favorite types. Videos.
Yeah, I am not on the fucking train. I had my bike. I can't go on a train. Yeah, I am not on the fucking train. I had my bike. I can't go on a train. On a train.
Does he need to be in the right lane to go over here? I think this is a valid. So you can go here through the roundabout. But what actually happened here is this vehicle right here is blocking her vision, the big van here, and she just didn't look after she passed it.
Train. I had my bike. I can't
That's what's
go on a train.
happening. So she gets past this, and then this car, she just wasn't looking. She should have looked. Right.
I'm not on the fucking train. I had my bike. I can't go on a train.
Why didn't she have a seatbelt on? At the end of the day, the car that is already in the roundabout has the right of way. Yeah, but depending on how big the roundabout is, like there are some, like you can pull into some roundabouts when there's a car in there, but it depends on the size. I haven't driven through roundabouts in a while. It's been in America for a while. I don't know why people are saying no in chat. That's fine if you're fucking retarded or you don't know how to drive or you don't live or you've never been through a roundabout or you're fucking retarded. That's fine. But there are some roundabouts where I don't even know I don't strictly know even the rules for these, but if there's like 2-lane roundabouts, like if you pull up to the roundabout here and you want to exit here, I think you're supposed to pull into this lane and then drive around and then like you exit like that. But if you're in this inner lane and somebody is coming up here, they shouldn't have to come to like a complete fucking stop. If you're in the inner lane, they should be able to just pull into the roundabout. It's not, roundabouts are not like, especially 2-lane roundabouts, everybody shouldn't have to come up to a complete stop because there's somebody in that center lane for you to pull into the roundabout. Doesn't matter how big the roundabout is, the person in the circle always has the right of way. The moped was entering the circle for the first time. It was her fault. I never said it wasn't her fault. But to say that you stop before you always go into a roundabout is fucking retarded. Unless you just don't drive in roundabouts. Or maybe it's a really, really, really busy one, maybe. But generally, the part of the point of the roundabout is to like keep people moving. Instead of everybody having to come to a complete fucking stop every single fucking time. At that point, you might as well just have like a fucking stop sign intersection. But the problem with this lady is she just wasn't watching. I think that that one blue van was kind of blocking her vision, and she was on her phone, or she just wasn't paying attention is what happened. Because, yeah, she's just not paying attention at all. I don't know if this, I'm trying to remember if you're supposed to have your right turn signal on here for this car that's like coming out to show that you're exiting. But I mean, it's pretty obvious. She just wasn't paying attention. Was it even 2 lanes on the approach though? It kind of looked like she was passing on the shoulder. Yeah, it looks like a 2-lane. Yeah, there's a divider line in the middle, I believe. Yeah, it's a 2-lane going in. I think it looks like it. A lot of people in Europe don't bother indicating to exit though, but you're supposed to. I think that's because once you're used to driving through roundabouts, it becomes like really obvious, like what's going on. So like if it's a 2-lane roundabout, and there's like a lane here and then a lane here. If this is going this way and this is going this way, and if this is 2 lanes, and you're pulling up to the roundabout and there's a car right here, you would just drive in because this car should be exiting here. Like if you're in a 2-lane roundabout, you shouldn't be riding the outer lane to get to where, like if you want to go over here and you enter here, you shouldn't enter here and ride the outer lane the entire way to right here. I don't know if there's a law against it, but I don't think that's a proper way to navigate a roundabout. Yeah, at that point you should be entering into the middle lane here and then you exit like this. But this is like super confusing for Americans because we just don't have a lot of roundabouts here. So every time, when I was in, I think when I was just in Tampa, no, there's a name for this, Sarasota, I think. I saw somebody do a left turn in a roundabout. Like they pulled up to it and stopped for a second, and then they just went left over here. And I was like, oh, okay. So I mean, for Americans, it's very confusing. I think, yeah, we just don't have. Then why even have a 2-lane roundabout? What do you mean, why have it? Because it gets you, it's quicker than a stop sign? Have you seen The Mentalist? I am The Mentalist. That's just not confusing. The road safety standards are different in America and usually always have stop and yield for the specific reason we just watched. I don't remember if this is the case. Maybe it wasn't. I don't ever remember seeing a stop sign before a roundabout in New Zealand or Europe. I feel like that defeats the whole purpose of having a roundabout if you have a stop sign before the roundabout. Maybe it's a really big one, but I feel like the whole point of a roundabout is to facilitate constantly moving traffic. You'll have yield signs, of course. You're always supposed to yield to people in the roundabout. They're not supposed to stop for you. But I don't know why. If you have a stop sign, then at that point you might as well have an intersection. Don't vehicles always have right-of-way inside a roundabout, even in double ones? Yeah, a vehicle in the roundabout always has the right of way, always, of course, just to keep everything in the roundabout moving. You wouldn't stop in the roundabout to let somebody in. Every roundabout I've driven through American has been 1 lane. 2 lanes sounds too chaotic. True, I don't know if I've seen 2-lane roundabouts in America, actually, I'm not sure. There are 2-lane roundabouts in Arizona.
I'm not on the fucking train. I had my bike. I can't go on a train.
She's just not paying attention. This isn't even, there's not even anything to think about here. Like, she's just not paying attention. That's what's happening here. Like, the only thing that could almost make this passable, maybe, is if she was turning right here, and then she could just cruise on through, and she'd probably be safe. She'd have to accelerate a little bit. But like this, she's kind of just like suicidal here. Yeah, I don't know what to say. You consider this a 2-lane roundabout? No, it looks like it's 1 lane. Oh, never mind. It is 2 lanes. Based. See, that was a limitation of my imagination. Good one.
And it's called halalflation. Today, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. How much does a plate of halal cost right now from this truck?
$10.
$10. Chicken over rice, lamb over rice, $10.
$10?
Yeah.
When you're a street vendor, you have to pay for the food, the plates. How much do you have to pay for your permit?
Before it was 22K.
17,000.
How much does a license cost if you get it from the city?
I think 400.
And who are you paying?
The permit owner.
You're not paying the city.
No.
You pay the permit owner $22,000 just so you can sell this food.
Yes.
And who is this?
A random guy.
Have you ever applied for a permit?
Yeah.
What, the mob?
I'm applied and no come anything.
It's long wait. Number 3,800 something. And
After 2 years, you're number 3,800.
yes.
These are the 4 bills that are sitting in the city council right now, which would give these vendors.
Is it? It's $22,000 to license a street vendor thing per year in New York City? That sounds insanely expensive. Is that true?
Their own permits
Jesus.
and make your halal more affordable. But Eric Adams hasn't said a single word about them. If you own the permit, then how much would you charge for the plate?
$7.
$8.
$8.
Would you rather
That's a secondhand price. They're using someone else's permit.
pay $10 for a plate of halal or $8?
$8.
$8.
I think $8 is the way to go.
If I was the mayor, I'd be working with city council from day 1 to make halal $8 again.
So, how does it taste?
Tastes like $10, but it should be 8.
Ooh, close. Good answer. Chud logic.
You can personally dislike this campaign, and Pirate Software was a totally disgusting wretch in how he dealt with this from day one, okay? Both those things can be true, don't worry. 2 things can simultaneously be correct, okay? There's nothing to defend Pirate Software on this. He said multiple things that were just factually wrong about what the initiative was supposed to be, right? And on top of that as well, he totally refused to talk to the guy. He fucking completely smeared the guy, and then totally refused to have a conversation.
Based.
Utterly cowardly, spineless wretch behavior from this guy, from Pirate Software. It's indefensible. Totally indefensible behavior on Pirate Software's part.
Thinking, okay, so
Wow, sounds like a hater. We've got a Pirate software hater, everyone. Sweden knew this. Mother passed away. Rip. Okay, so this. Miskiff tried to prove he's not gay.
Why is my feed... Okay, this proves I'm not gay. Okay, if I was gay, my feed would be all dudes. Ready? Let's see how many dudes are just when I scroll a little bit, okay? But just to prove to you I'm not gay. One girl. Nothing.
That fucking, Nice. Where's the Hideo quiet feet cam fucking... Oh. I can't sing that song. Who's got the meme?
Wow. I actually remember they asked to scan my, like underneath my feet for a reference when I was at Kojima Production. Scan your feet as well.
Just shut up, delusional e-girl, too dumb to hire a lawyer.
Massive day for the unemployed. Denims is too stupid to shut up while actively being sued and dead.
Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Just a couple of these guys and then we're done. Hold on, I started saving these. Some of these are good. How do I open these? Wait, why is this so hard? More. Wait. Copy link. One day I'm going to make an Instagram account and we can do real slop on stream. Wait, I just realized this actually is not as funny as when I'm just looking at it at night in my bed. Never mind, we're not doing this. That is a good meme, though. Wait, well, what is this one? I can't tell some of these if they're, like, supposed to be ironic or not.
I failed you. You trusted me.
Are these just supposed to be dark or not? Like, I don't know.
I failed you.
What? Make an account, don't let anxiety rule you. I can't help it. This guy's like a whole D&D thing. And I feel the memes from D&D. This is our whole last campaign.
For today, I will see you guys next week. ADM, we're only level 8, and we've been playing for like 6 months. Do you know how much longer this is going to go on for? Oh, well, probably not much longer. You'll probably end around level 12 or 13. What? I thought it went to level 20. Yeah, no one really does that. What? Why? It's, difficult to run fights at that level. Have you done it before? I did one time. What was it like? It was the longest combat I ever ran. I've seen spells so powerful no legendary action or resistance could keep that fight interesting. We didn't even have enough physical dice for all the damage. What? How? I've seen fighters action surge twice. Wizards cast time stop 2 turns in a row. And the rogue did 120 damage and didn't even roll a single die. And I sat through it. For 8 hours, I sat through it. What did the players say? They turned on me. Asked me for a fair fight. And when I gave it to them, they hated me for it. You ran a good game. You can't blame yourself for that. I was just following their character sheets.
This guy's whole channel is... Why? I shouldn't have to sign into an account. I just want to look at some memes.
Royal ball, you look through gossiping crowds of nobles and patrolling guards, and you see him, the prince, talking to a group of elders.
All right, we need to find a way to get the prince by himself, capture him, and interrogate him about the missing king. Oh, I think I have an ability that lets me read his mind. Wait, really? Oh, I guess you're a warlock. But he would know you're trying to detect his thoughts. I don't remember what it's called. Sorry, I'm still pretty new to D&D, but the DM said it was an ability, not a spell. What? I don't think that's a thing. What's your subclass again? Oh, the DM actually said it's not for my patron, but a random worm companion I have in my brain. That doesn't make sense.
I think these are mind flayers or whatever. More brain worms. Fuck. Okay, no more. All right, we're done with this. Wait, you know what? I am going to make you watch that. We're not going to be ashamed. Where's my... No, no, no. Wait. No, not that one. Stop. Stop! One sec.
Oh, girls, look who's here. Come on, where they is?
It's a good one. This is a good one, okay? I think they have one more. I think they have an interstellar one. I don't get it? Yeah, you wouldn't get it. Fuck. I'm not gonna... I didn't save the other one. Maybe it's on his thing. Stop. The second middle? Really? This is the interstellar one? No, it's a different interstellar one.
I'm telling you, you guys were in love.
Tell him,
You were.
Tell him not to get back with his ex, Bert. Be a good friend, Bert.
She had your ex hard to change.
Steady.
She's changed. Dude, she's going to yoga. She lost
She didn't get better, she got worse. She got worse.
This is fine.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, he's wrong. Don't listen. Tell him to stay.
Oh my god, wait, I did find it. Oh my god.
Stay. Make him stay. Stay. Stay.
That's my boy. He's in love, man. Go get her, dude. Go on.
I don't play video games anymore. I miss my friends. Bert, don't let him go out that door.
No, 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 no.
I've waited hours.
How many?
It has been 8 hours, 51 minutes, 37 seconds.
Where's Grace?
She's gone.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Grace.
Messages span 8 hours.
Play from the beginning.
Hey baby, I hope you're playing really good golf. It's okay if you're not. Please don't break any more of your clubs. Just remember I love you so much. I can't wait to see you in 4 hours like you promised. We have that reservation so you can't be late. It's our special day, remember? Hey Blake, it's been 4 hours now and you haven't even texted me, so just need to know if I need to push the reservation back a little bit or something, so hurry up. Blake, where are you? We missed our reservation. Why does golf always come before me? It makes me so sad. And on our anniversary, why do you do this to me? Blake, I can't do this anymore. My friends say I need to let you go, so I'm letting you go, Blake. Goodbye.
But is it supposed to be funny? It is funny. If you don't find it funny, you have no sense of humor. Speaking of funny, I think this is our final brief before we wait for the judge to rule on a bunch of things. How long do you think it'll take to roll this up? Hopefully within a couple weeks, I think is the expectation. Plaintiff Jane Doe's reply in support of motion to have June 3rd, 2025 evidentiary hearing transcript filed under seal. Comes now. Plaintiff Jane Doe, by and through undersigned counsel, and hereby submits her reply in support of her motion to have June 3rd, 2025 evidentiary hearing transcript filed under seal, and respectfully states as follows. Introduction. Defendant's opposition, ECF 101, distorts both the record and the applicable legal standards and reveals that his only interest in opposing sealing is financial and performative, not rooted in any public right. Like I don't have the public right to have a public viewing of my court stuff. Good one. But plaintiff does not seek to shield herself from embarrassment or scrutiny, as defendant suggests. Interesting. Rather, she seeks to protect deeply private, sexually explicit, and mental health-related testimony from being broadcast to over 1 million online followers by a political streamer who has a documented pattern of weaponizing public proceedings for harassment, monetization, and spectacle. That's crazy, given that she's the one that filed a public case and also, prior to this, made a public Substack that was full of a whole bunch of lies. I was going to say speculation, but not even. Just she knows they're fucking lies. But okay. Defendant has, throughout the case, used his platform to publicly attack plaintiff, her counsel, and even third-party witnesses. Just keep repeating the same. I wonder if there's going to be in like every single filing that Justigal and Queeman are third-party witness. I wonder if they're just going to repeat this over and 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 over again. See ECF number 73, blah, 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 blah. If the transcript is unsealed, I don't even think it's technically sealed. I think it's like, it is sealed, but it's while the judge is going to make a ruling. So we're not really asking, I don't think, for it to be unsealed, but to deny their motion to seal. If the transcript is unsealed, it is all but certain that it will be publicly read, mocked, and monetized online in ways that will inflict real and irreparable harm. I'm sorry, if your under oath testimony is mocked, I mean, that's on you. Well, I mean, what do you mean? This is again, it's like they want to have like a private Discord call, but they want to pretend it's court, or they want to go to court and pretend that they can treat it like a private Discord one-on-one call. If you want to sue somebody publicly and you want to do public filings and all these things, then that's fine. We can do that, but you can't have this stupid double standard. Indeed, defendant has already explicitly stated that he will read the transcript out loud on his platform if it is unsealed. Yes, I will indeed go over my publicly available, publicly accessible filings for the court case that plaintiff initiated. Is that a problem? How unconfident are you in your own under oath testimony that this is such a threat to you? At minute 12:09, this hour-and-a-half video is solely about the June 3rd hearing. It was filmed on June 3rd and posted on June 4th, 2025, and to date has 353,981 views. Magistrate Judge Torres, who presided over the June 3rd hearing and heard the testimony, readily granted plaintiff's motion to seal the transcript. I'm not aware of that. I believe that the transcript was sealed while they were awaiting a hearing on the motion. I don't think this motion was ever granted, but I guess we're going to go read the exact language. ECF 91. Paperless order granting in part 88 motion to seal. We direct the clerk to maintain the transcript at DE 90 as fully sealed pending further order of the court. So this is just, it's sealed while the magistrate judge is making a ruling on it. But we can also just lie, I guess. It's fun to just lie. Defendant has provided no legitimate reason to unseal the transcript, nor is there any. Okay. Plaintiff's privacy interests outweigh the public interest, thus there is good cause for sealing the transcript. The common law right of access may be overcome by a showing of good cause, which requires balancing the asserted right of access against the other party's interest in keeping the information confidential. In this case, they vacated the lower court's order unsealing documents because it erred by applying the heightened standard of compelling interest rather than merely good cause. They were sealed. The content of this transcript, combined with the defendant's highly unusual use of his public platform, meets the standard easily. Now, keep in mind, plaintiff decided, who filed under a Jane Doe, to publicly inform the entire world about my revenge porn being leaked online, and then in multiple court filings has directed everybody to websites to find it. But thank you. Okay, yes. My highly unusual use of my public platform. Thank you. Courts are especially protective of sexual privacy and mental health testimony, two topics directly implicated in the transcript. The defendant conflates the applicable standard and relies on inopposite precedent. The opposition asserts that heightened scrutiny and a compelling government interest are necessary, relying on Globe newspaper v. Super. That was a criminal case, and the standard is not applicable to a civil case. Defendant also erroneously contends that the records should not be sealed absent extraordinary circumstances. Opponent relies on Doe v. GA's Department of Corrections for this contention, but Doe says no such thing. Moreover, Doe is distinguishable because it is a case pertaining to conditions of prisoner confinement, and it is undeniable that the public has a powerful interest in the non-identifying information involved in these proceedings. There is no I haven't read the underlying cases up here. I've only read one of these underlying cases. Also, yeah, for sexual privacy, like Doe, Pixie already made a public post on everything, and it's posted to this day, like on every, so I don't know what, but okay. Here, plaintiff's claims are based on her right to privacy, fuck you, and, as the defendant is well aware, the transcript at issue includes testimony about plaintiff's private mental health history? No, just about stuff concerning this, which she's already made public. Details that could lead to her identity? No, that's not true. Intimate sexual communications shared in confidence. This stuff is already all publicly available online. And testimony about sexually explicit content unrelated to the statutory liability issues. I don't even know what that is in reference to, but okay. The subject matter of the transcript is traditionally considered private, not public. Yeah, if this was true, then why didn't they should have moved for this to be a private hearing instead of a public one. But In determining the weight to be accorded an assertion of a right to privacy, courts should first consider the degree to which the subject matter is traditionally considered private rather than public. Financial records of a wholly owned business, family affairs, illnesses, embarrassing conduct with no public ramifications, and similar matters will weigh more heavily against access than conduct affecting a substantial portion of the public. I haven't read this underlying case, but I'm almost certain that this probably pertains to like discovery and stuff that's not like central to the actual court case. But I'm too lazy to go through this. So, and every time they cite cases are just fucking horrible. But foremost among the competing concerns that a court weighing disclosure must consider is the privacy interest of the person resisting disclosure. Courts consistently recognize that sexual and mental health information is considered private and not public, justifying sealing, especially when public disclosure would serve no legitimate function, but instead expose the party to stigma and harassment. Would serve no legitimate function? Excuse me. Stuff that happens in court is presumed to have public access, and there's a huge right of presumption of public access. I don't have to say that there's a legitimate function. That's assumed on my part. You are the one that has to overcome a significant burden there to prove that it should be closed. But and they even say here presumption in favor of public access. Here, the testimony in the transcript does not concern public officials, nor does it affect public concerns. Thus, there is limited public interest in allowing public access to the transcript. It concerns my court case. What? Whereas plaintiff's interest in sealing the transcript and protecting her private sexual and mental health information is high. You already made a public fucking case where you talk about all this shit. Like, what the fuck? The nature and degree of the injury weighs in favor of sealing. The nature and degree of injury must also be weighed. This will entail consideration not only of the sensitivity of the information and the subject, but also of how the person seeking access intends to use the information. Commercial competitors seeking an advantage over rivals need not be indulged in the name of monitoring the courts, and personal vendettas, similarly, need not be aided. This is not a personal vendetta, though. This has to do with a public civil court case. It's not just a personal vendetta. But it's so stupid. Defendant purports to be opposing the sealing of the transcript out of concern for the common law right of public access, but it is transparently obvious that he wants the transcript to be public only to serve his own personal interests. Part of the public right of access is for the personal interests of the people involved in the court case. Yeah, no shit. When I talk about like habeas corpus, well, it seems like they really think that people should be read charges when they're arrested and not just secretly arrested. But it seems like he only wants that so that it doesn't happen to him. Yeah, no shit. What the fuck? Yeah, no shit. Yeah, duh. Yeah, of course. It is beyond any doubt that if the transcript is unsealed, the defendant will publish it on his live streams and also read it out loud for the merriment of his hundreds of thousands of followers. Yes, it's a court case. You wanted to file a public case against me. All of this is a public court case. All of this is public. The access to all of it is public. Defendant's motives and likely use mandate sealing the transcript. Defendant's motives in having the transcript unsealed must be considered when balancing plaintiff's privacy interests against the interests of public access. Courts may deny public access to judicial documents, such as the transcript, to ensure that judicial records do not, quote, become a vehicle for improper purposes, end quote. Me talking about testimony in my court case that's directly related to my court case is not an improper purpose. Here, defendant has already publicly stated that he intends to read the transcript out loud on his platforms, as is my right to do so. They are public filings about a public court case. And there has been ample evidence presented to the court of his hours-long discussions of the details of this case on his online platforms, including threats, harassments, and ridicule of plaintiff, witnesses, and counsel. I have not threatened or harassed plaintiff. I have the right to ridicule everybody involved, of course. What do you mean? I'm not allowed to say anything while these people are ridiculing me? That's such a stupid contention. The Nixon court expressed particular concern about protecting from purely prurient interests the display or disclosure of otherwise embarrassing private or familial information obtained through the courts. Purely prurient interest. Again, this is just whatever. It explained that the common law right of inspection, though undoubtedly powerful and never lightly subordinated, must give way where records are sought merely to gratify private spite or promote public scandal through the publication of the painful and sometimes disgusting details of cases. This isn't a private spite. This is a public court case. The Merlis court, I did read this underlying case. reversed the lower court's decision to unseal a judicial document precisely because the lower court failed to consider the motives of the party seeking to have the document unsealed. Courts should consider personal motives, including an applicant's desire to pursue an individual vendetta at the third balancing step of the inquiry in connection with any asserted privacy interests. This case, this is a again, I don't bother reading all the citations because they're so fucking stupid. This case is insane because what the court rejected here, Eliyahu, Jesus, Merlis, this person sued Daniel Greer, who was a rabbi, for sexually molesting him. There was other testimony that was brought in. So Hack, it was a non-party witness. So they weren't part of this original case. They were a non-party witness in a 2016 civil lawsuit in the District of Columbia. In that suit, the plaintiff, Merlis, a former student at a religious school in New Haven, Connecticut, accused the defendant, Daniel Greer, the former religious leader of that school, of sexually abusing Merlis when Merlis was a minor and a student there. Merlis sought damages from Greer for that abuse in connection with those proceedings. So Merlis here was suing Greer, okay? In connection with those proceedings, Hack, another person, not a party to the case, another person, gave a video recorded deposition lasting several hours in which he testified in detail to having also been a victim of Greer's sexual abuse several decades earlier when Hack was a minor and a student at the school. Hack further testified in his deposition that he'd known Greer's abuse of Merlis, which occurred when Hack was an adult and employed at the school. A transcript of the deposition is publicly available, but public access to the video recording itself is the subject of this appeal. So the transcript exists. This guy, this Dressler guy, wasn't even a part of the court case, and I don't know why, but he was trying to make it so that that deposition would be released publicly, the video of it. After trial, Lawrence Dressler, the interested party appellee, in the appeal now before us, sought the DC's leave to access the video recording of Hack's entire deposition. Using the screen name Larry Noodles, Dressler had written voluminously on his blog about the trial and disparagingly about both Hack and Greer. He informed the court that he sought to copy the video so that he could post it publicly to his internet blog. So this guy isn't even a fucking party to the case, and he's trying to get a video of a witness in this case, who's also not a party to this, but a witness to this case, where the transcript already exists, and then the court said, no, you don't need access to that video. We're not going to give you that video. And they're trying to compare that request to my request. The Merlis court reversed the lower court's decision to unseal the judicial document precisely because the lower court failed to consider the motives of the party seeking to have the document unsealed. The person seeking that transcript, that deposition, the video deposition, wasn't even a party to the fucking case. And the witness here wasn't a party to the case either. Like, it was also in a different district as well. Yeah, this is a 2nd district case, not a 9th district case. But it's just like such an this information is relevant particularly when an individual, and not the press, seeks public access to sensitive information. It wasn't a party to the case. Here, defendant is not a typical litigant. He is a professional online streamer whose income is largely derived from publicly discussing controversial topics, including this lawsuit. Scumbag, subhuman, degenerate shit, acting like I've made more money covering this than I wouldn't have otherwise. But since the outset of this case, defendant has repeatedly posted about it on his streaming platforms, mocked plaintiff and her legal team, and weaponized court filings for online content. Weaponized court filings? Or I'm sorry, I'm in the 11th Circuit, not the 9th, my bad. 9th Circuit is California and Washington and Oregon. How I'm weaponizing my court filings by reading them? Defendant has also publicly ridiculed plaintiff's mental health, sexual history, and witnesses who supported her case. I'm allowed to have an opinion about these things. No one is targeting anybody. No one is threatening anybody, except they keep trying to throw Dristigal and Queeman, who aren't a part of this case at all. But this is not speculative. His pattern of commentary is well documented and includes live streams, tweets, and reposts designed to stir harassment by his audience. This is also like kind of a little bit like in support of their gag order. So like I just am not allowed to talk about this at all. Obviously, I'm going to say you're lying. I believe you're lying, and I mean, we have a disagreement of fact here. That's why there's a court case at all. So like what? Also, keep in mind, all of this is buoyed so heavily by the fact that she made a public Substack post with an unhinged list of calculations. Or, I'm sorry, I just read a thing in chat. With an unhinged list of accusations against me before even filing the court case. Like, how could you possibly gag me against all of that? Indeed, defendant's only plausible reason for opposing sealing is his interest in continuing to exploit the transcript for personal profit and performative harassment. For this reason, the transcript must remain sealed to prevent further and additional harm to plaintiff. Imagine being so harmed by your own words. Under oath, by the way. Defendant contends, without any legal authority, that plaintiff waived her right to have the transcript sealed because 1, there were members of the public present, and 2, plaintiff did not request sealing until the day after the hearing. First, defendant grossly overstates the public nature of the hearing. Defendant falsely, we've got bold and underline, asserts that multiple individuals unaffiliated with the parties were present in the courtroom gallery, some of whom took contemporaneous notes and later published detailed summaries online. I don't remember if there was... I thought there was more than just one person. My fan in the back, he might have been the only one. I thought there was another person. I don't remember though, because I'm not looking behind me all the time. Opposition, P7, page 7, and again, members of the public attended the hearing, took notes, and later discussed the proceeding online and in various public forums. Discussed the proceedings online and in various public forums. Oh yeah, multiple. Some might have been staff or not. I'm not sure. I don't know. But in fact, only one individual sat in the gallery, an associate of defendant with the screen name Zip. An associate? That's just a fucking lie that's being proffered with no evidence and no proof whatsoever. But, okay. And his name isn't even Zip, but no press were present. The proceeding was only discussed online by the defendant and Zip on defendant's streaming platform. The video stream makes it clear that Zip was the one taking the notes at the hearing so that defendant could rely on them for his live stream. Okay, Again, I've never, I didn't even know the guy at the fucking hearing. I didn't even know it was one of my fans. Zip, have we ever communicated before? I think the very first time we've ever communicated was when I was leaving the courthouse and he said that my coat was messed up in the back. It's the first time we've ever communicated in our lives. Are they even trying at this point? What they're doing is they copy paste stuff. I wish I was joking. And nobody will speak out about this because everybody in all of my surrounding X communities are spineless fucking cowards who infinitely not condescend to, but treat white crying women like actual retarded children. But all they do is just copy paste stuff from Kiwi Farms and then just put it in a court doc. That's literally all this case is. Hoping to survive summary judgment and then hoping to further malign or embarrass me or reputation tank me or whatever. That's the only, and then waste my money. That's all this case has become. The video stream makes it clear that Zip was the one to... The article referenced in the opposition as support for defendant's false statements was based solely on defendant's video stream and included a link to a portion of the stream. The author of the article has acknowledged that he was not in the courtroom and that the reporting is based explicitly on the video clip that is also attached in the article from Dusty himself. I like that they don't even try to upload stuff on their own or they literally just link directly to a Kiwi Farms video. Like, it's just, they're literally just pulling this. Also, it was one of the people on my thread on Kiwi Farms that apparently emailed and wrote to the guy who linked the article. But I like that this is, I think, is this third court doc now where they've just linked directly to a Kiwi Farms thread? But it's actually gross what Pixie's lawyers are doing. No, it's gross what she is doing. Don't blame it. It's not just the lawyer. She's not a fucking child. This is her representation. She theoretically has to approve these things that are being posted online, and she says that she wants to go to law school and whatever retarded shit she can do with her fucking 75 LSAT. In fact, the article was later amended to reflect this fact, and the original line was changed to read, Destiny recently shared what he learned, or that he learned through court proceedings that defendants' deliberate attempts to mislead the court should be sanctioned. Okay. Second, plaintiff's failure to move contemporaneously for sealing does not waive her rights, particularly where the emotional distress from the hearing's content and the anticipated misuse became apparent only after the hearing concluded. I like how they accidentally revealed the whole give away everything here. They were not happy with how the hearing went. That's the reality of what happened. And this is them saying it explicitly. After they realized that everything that they were trying to float here was fucking bullshit, and when they realized that, oh fuck, we didn't actually tell Pixie she has no fucking idea how to speak in court like an adult, and yapped and rambled and said so much retarded shit, a lot of which is incredibly damaging to her case, then they're like, oh, we gotta seal this shit immediately. Because a lot of this kind of fucks your, at least the public shit that you've posted about this. But I like how they say this here. The emotional distress from the hearing's content and the anticipated misuse became apparent only after the hearing concluded. What does that even mean? You thought I was a good person, and then after the hearing, you're like, oh fuck, he might misuse. It's so gross. Post-hearing sealing is routinely granted in similar situations involving sensitive sexual or mental health testimony, particularly where the threat of misuse or online harassment is credible and imminent. I would disbar people, but I don't know anything about that. If I similar situations, remember, and they're citing this case that had to deal with a minor being raped by an adult, giving a video deposition in a case where he wasn't even a party to the case, and wanting to have that video deposition sealed while the transcript is still publicly available. So it's not even remotely similar. Or unless they have a different definition for similar, or they just don't do English much, I guess. It's actually fucking insane that they would even use this word here, but okay. Post-trial sealing of a judicial document, a video deposition that was played for several hours during a public trial where party opposing sealing, motivated by ill will and intended to publish the video online. I don't even know if I would agree with the term party here. They weren't a party to the original case. They were like an appealee party. It was a new thing. I think it was just an independent guy coming into appeal who wasn't a part of, he wasn't part of this case at all. Did they use the term party? Interested party appellee. He became a party just in the appeal here, but he wasn't a party to the original case at all. Is my understanding. I think somebody said online that he's like a true crime. He's like a true crime blogger or something. What's it called? Larry Noodles? Tell us why that distinction is meaningful for the slow ones like me. Because one, the person requesting this video deposition, it would be like one of you guys requesting a deposition in my court case about somebody else giving a deposition about me in a video form where the text was already available. Imagine Samantha did a video deposition where claiming that I'd raped her 20 years ago or something, and you or somebody who's not being part of the case, and you want the full video deposition of her testimony. And then the court says, well, no, you weren't even a party to the case. You're literally writing about this with the goal of harassing and mocking her. And she wasn't, it's not like it's not testimony from somebody who's part of the case. This is a deposition that she gave. And the transcript is still fully available online, which it was. So it's not even remotely, it's not comparable, 7 different ways. Yet Dressler, this is the non-party who's requesting the video deposition, Dressler identified no affirmative public need that would be served by general release of the video deposition when the text transcript was already available. Indeed, no other individual entity and no media outlet joined in Dressler's request. The privacy interests of, so the whole text transcript was already fully available. This is it's not even remotely close. It's just so stupid. I'm sorry. The Merlis court found that the lower court erred by discounting the privacy interests of the person seeking sealing. The lower court's reasons that 1, the person's testimony had already been made publicly available, and 2, the person failed to request that the deposition be sealed at the time he sat for it, were specifically rejected by the appellate court. This is just fucking bullshit. Similarly here, the court should reject defendant's baseless arguments. Plaintiff's limited public statements in no way undermine a request. Defendant's reliance on plaintiff's limited public advocacy is a red herring. Discussing her case in broad general terms does not waive her right to protect explicit details about her sexuality or mental health from being dissected in a monetized online video. Further, plaintiff's modest online fundraising activity does not equate to publicizing her private testimony. The hypocrisy of defendant's argument is glaring. Defendant, by contrast, is a professional content creator earning revenue by sensationalizing the case. It is just so unfathomably fucking disgusting. Like, sensationalizing the case? Just to be clear from where we came from for this, this was her public Substack before any of the before any case went live. On November 29th, I learned that the streamer Destiny had also my full name, Stephen Kenneth Bundle II, had non-consensually shared pornographic content of me online. All of this is written to maximize, like, oh shit, like just pornographic content of you. No, it was of us. And online makes it sound like I was the one who published it to Kiwi Farms. So this whole statement is misleading. My dignity, peace of mind, and hopes for the future were stripped away in a mere matter of seconds following the betrayal of someone I previously trusted. I am at least the third person he has done this to. Other people could sue me if they want, then we'll go through all of that. But obviously, she's adding this in here. It's not even technically her story and tell, but hey, you know, I guess I'm harassing and causing everybody to go into hiding. I hope to be the last. I will not be commenting on the experience of the other women he has hurt, as it is not my place or story to tell, despite the fact that she keeps adding them in court document after court document after court document, when at least one of them is publicly stated, I don't want to be involved in this. I don't know why I keep getting mentioned over and over again. But I will, however, share my story in the hopes of preventing this from occurring again. I have known Destiny for around 5 to 6 years now and often find myself in heavy disagreements with him. Despite this, I do my best to see the best sides of all people, trying my hardest to spread positivity and create understanding where I can. It's corny, but I want to meet people where they are and focus on which ways we can build bridges together towards a better future for everyone. Some people call this a fault of mine. They claim I am naive and should be more careful. These people are right. It's retarded. When I was 19, over 5 years ago, I was extremely sexually inexperienced and sheltered. So she wasn't 19. We started chatting when she was 20 and we met when she was 21. All of these dates are easily verifiable. She still has all the chat logs to this. She, I assume, knows when her fucking birthday was. So why would you just lie about your age? Why would you lie about this, right? We can just look at the logs. I know when her birthday is and I know when we started chatting. So this is a fucking lie. But I guess we want to be 19 to be freshly 19 or a teenager. I was extremely sexually inexperienced and sheltered. She makes it sound like she's like an actual fucking virgin, whatever. Like, you're literally recording videos with your boyfriend or senator. What the fuck is wrong with you? But like to say this and make it sound like you're some completely, being severely terrified of leading someone on or sexual assault. I thought I could trust Destiny, who I had multiple long conversations with regarding consent and boundaries. What does this even have to do with anything? You didn't get sexually assaulted or led on, like what? So you can imagine my surprise when I discovered he distributed pornographic content of me without my consent. Again, distributed what, to multiple people, published it online? Pornographic content, what, just of you? Like it is meaningfully different. Am I just sending videos solo of her around, or is it stuff that we've filmed together? Yes, you read that right. Stephen Kenneth Bundle II sent pornographic content of me to a random 19-year-old e-girl Discord kitten whom he had never met before, and then she published it to the whole world. You, by your own thing, now you weren't 19 or 20, but aren't you describing yourself? Like, listen how fucking retarded you sound here. Like, I was 19 and he was sending me videos. Also, he sent videos to another person who was 19. This, by the way, comes up in the transcript in a very fucking hilarious way, but I can't read it. But like, what? And then she published it to the whole world. Rest assured, despite never having met her, he at least spoke to her plenty of times on the phone. Yeah, this was the same relationship I had with you. Like, what is the point of... Of course, this is what he says happened. I think it is just as likely that he used her as a proxy to widely distribute this material while claiming deniability. And I think that she published this because she secretly likes seeing all of it online and she likes the attention from her video. Like, what a fucking unhinged statement to make. I do not understand why Destiny would knowingly and willingly put me in a position where I would receive nonstop sexual abuse and harassment. If we believe him, he was trying to impress a barely legal teenager using my body and my person. If we believe, I've never said this ever, but that's a cool read here. Like, nothing that we filmed was as impressive as this. What a stupid statement. The betrayal, coupled with the hundreds of messages I've received, filled with sexual harassment and abuse, have left me feeling hopeless and devoid of almost all happiness. Wow, you're discussing your mental health and everything in your Substack. Nice. The only thing that has kept me going is the hope that I can bring this man to justice and have him face legal consequences for his actions. For the past month, I've been speaking to lawyers about my situation and what to do, and have decided this is the best course of action. Now, most of the lawyers that she spoke with told her that she had no case. But thank God she has a family friend, I guess, that can litigate against me. So thank goodness for that. I will be suing him for some federal code that Lauren looked up for me, civil action relating to disclosure of intimate images, and for publication of private facts in Florida. I will be seeking emotional and punitive damages for his actions. I have been told that a court case like this could potentially cost over tens of thousands of dollars. I am terrified. I mean, this guy talks about potentially suing Hassan as if for fun, and Hassan actually has the resources to defend himself. I cannot imagine what he might try to do to me in the process. How do you victimize yourself before doing anything when you're literally sometimes I wonder if he does this as an intimidation tactic. I wonder if he is purposefully trying to put fear into my heart when he casually talks about throwing money into a lawsuit with a multimillionaire who can fight back, as if it's an indirect flaunt/warning over his capability of outspending me in whatever legal case I throw at him. At the request of my friends, I have been encouraged to link my GiveSendGo regarding this case here in hopes that we can raise enough for me to legally succeed. Whoever the next Joe Rogan of the left is, it cannot be someone that crosses sexual boundaries, violates consent, and puts women's well-being and safety at risk. It cannot be someone who puts women in positions where they will be sexually abused and harassed. It concerns me that Destiny's been interviewing potential DNC chair candidates such as Marianne Williamson or Martin O'Malley, who have no idea of what he's done. As time passes and he tries to position himself to have interviews with increasingly powerful figures such as Zelensky, I can't help but be filled with fear that Destiny might continue to succeed, despite facing no repercussions for his actions. If the Democratic Party wishes to succeed in the future, it cannot be a party that accepts the sexual exploitation of women. It cannot be a party that allows men like Destiny to break into the mainstream, for allowing him access to such spaces would be a direct endorsement of his behavior. I have been told that the payout might not be worth the harassment and attention I will receive. In an ideal world, I would do this privately, but have been told that there's no realistic way the court will grant me anonymity. Like, did you not even read the fucking statute that you cited? There's a reason why you proceeded under seal. Like, this is more just fucking lies. Maybe she can't even read, who knows? This means my only, maybe she dictated this, I don't know. This means my only option is public. I have been told by a variety of people not to go public. I have been told by some people that Stephen really does feel sorry, but I am not inclined to believe them, especially taking into consideration his actions regarding me. Regardless, what Destiny did was unacceptable, and I believe he will do this again unless he faces justice. Like, so brave of you to say all this shit, and then as soon as you have to actually sit your dumb ass down in front of a fucking judge and speak under oath, and your testimony changes dramatically, that now you want to seal the fuck out of that while leaving, dribble like this online to fundraise off of. It's actually so fucking annoying to me. I hate that. It's so annoying. Defended by contrast for okay. He has mocked and doxed plaintiff supporters and witnesses. Supporters now? What in the fuck is a supporter? Like a friend? Like what? Ensuring that public disclosure of the transcript would lead to further harassment and harm. Indeed, right after the hearing concluded, defendant was streaming on his platform and mocking the plaintiff for having cried while she was testifying. Because you're breaking down in your own examination. This is unhinged. In his chat thread on his personal platform, defendant wrote to his followers that plaintiff had a big breakdown. I started crying halfway through. We had to take a 10-minute break. LOOOOOOOOOOL. He also writes, I'm going to be honest, I got really uncomfortable when she was on the stand and started getting upset because it started to look like I had hooked up with somebody. I thought I said retarded, but maybe mentally ill. This disparaging comment is followed by a laughing emoji. Defendant has provided no evidence of any similar publishing by plaintiff. Are you serious? The person who literally accused me of using a person online as a proxy to post 27 sexual videos of me online? Accordingly, plaintiff urges the court to maintain the transcript under seal. Alternatively, in the event that the court determines plaintiff has not demonstrated good cause to have the entire transcript sealed, plaintiff requests that she be allowed to designate portions of the transcript as confidential and that the transcript only be unsealed in redacted form. I hope they don't grant this in part, because then it's going to be another fucking 30 days to redact shit, and then we're going to probably have to do a brief or why we argue some stuff shouldn't be redacted, and then it's going to be like another fucking 3 months. Like, Destiny, the LOL meme is actually misrepresented. You said that in regard to something else. Also, the messages are presented in the wrong order. Oh, because they go bottom to top. Oh, true. I don't say she had a big breakdown, LOL. I was saying LOL because the hearing was in open court, but they want to seal the transcript from the hearing now, LOL. Lock Knox, she had a big breakdown and started crying halfway through. We had to take a 10-minute break. I think she was getting really frustrated. Oh, true. So they did quite, but they don't care. They don't care about lying in filings, and none of it fucking matters because the plaintiff has no reputation or online anything anyway, and no one is ever going to say anything detrimental about her because it's a white woman tier saying some unhinged, retarded shit about this. So, the message of you realizing it was me at the hearing, meaning you didn't know me. Oh yeah, I like how they try to say that we're. Oh, ZipZip45. Oh wait, ZipZip45, was that you this morning? Oh yeah, because I didn't even know who the fuck you were. Yeah, but whatever. Plaintiff respectfully requests that the court reject defendant's opposition and grant the motion to seal. Hearing turns to the public interest in having testimony involving their sexual and mental health information and identifying data be public is very low, and there is no identifying data in this transcript. And plaintiff's interest in keeping the information private is very high. Do you get to respond to this? Nope. This was their briefing. We already made our briefing. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, the judge starts ruling on a bunch of these motions. I just hope that it's not granted in part, because if the redacting is just, it's just going to be another like 2 or 3 or 4 months to delay everything. How possible do you think it is that she knows her case is weak and her only goal now is to make you spend as much as possible? That is 100% what's going on. Obviously, that's what's going on. The Abbey MC evidence is, I don't even want to say it's weak at best. They're knowingly lying about that evidence. They're knowingly lying in court. I think actually, it might also be that Pixie might be lying to her representation, and maybe they don't know. So one thing I thought was interesting as I was recalling my thoughts about what was said in court, one of the things that they accused me of, and Pixie might just be lying to her representation, or she's retarded and forgot, who knows, is they claim that I never actually contacted a law firm in New York. They claim that that's a total fucking lie and that I actually misrepresented that entirely, and I lied to Pixie the whole time about that. Now, they might only be saying that because on Kiwi Farms they say that. They say that I'm lying about ever contacting a New York law firm. However, I can verify that not only did I contact that New York law firm, they know that I contacted a New York law firm, because back when Brianna Wu was helping Pixie, I don't know if that's public or not, but Brianna Wu was trying to help Pixie behind the scenes. She contacted the same law firm that I had retained in New York, and they had to reject her because of a conflict of interest. So she knows for a fact that I had retained a law firm relating to this case, because she was rejected from that one in New York because it was the same one that I was going to use to pursue my case against Kiwi. So she knows it's a fucking lie, even though they tried to float that in court against me a couple times. But it's, who the fuck cares, I guess. Like, literally, like, white woman power. It's unreal, dude. If I was a white woman, I would be the fucking president of the world. Is plaintiff suing the person who posted the video? No, plaintiff doesn't give a fuck about the person who posted the video or the website hosting the video. The only thing she cares about is trying to make a name, taking me down, because she's insanely far left and is being powered by somebody who's insanely far right and has convinced herself this is her last fucking, like, mission on Earth is to take out the evil rapist or whatever. And so this is her life mission until this all ends. Was this illegal? I don't think you ever said that about Brandon helping her. I don't know. I don't remember if I said it or not, but she was helping her initially. Which was stupid of Pixie and irresponsible on Brianna Wu's part, because there is no attorney-client privilege between Brianna and Pixie since she wasn't retained as legal representation. So theoretically, I can do discovery or subpoena all of those conversations. Not that any of it fucking matters, but... Good times. think I'm doing something with the Unfuck American people on TikTok in like 30 minutes, so. I was 10 years old when I found out you could do this with your Pop-Tarts. Okay. Do you feel slighted by all the people who distance themselves from you? They feel awfully quiet, to be honest. No, it's just the white woman power. It is what it is. Cuomo announced he's staying in the race as a spoiler candidate. Hopefully not. Watch the vid that's responding to. What? This is so stupid. What? Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense now. Would your lawyer's prior response includes important quotes or lines of questioning from the transcript? Would that be a loophole to make certain important... I have no idea. Don't know. Do you blame them for not wanting to be associated with you? Yeah, I do. That's why I'm not going back. That's why after this case, I'm done with. That's why I blocked them all. Just said, fuck it. We move on. I'm in a new direction.
Went outside of B with the MAC-10. They smoked here for CT cross. Oh, 1 E-box, 1 E-box. Don't do it to me.
Wait, how old is this? Oh, yesterday.
Went outside of B with the MAC-10. They smoked here for CT cross. Oh, 1 E-box, 1 E-box. Don't do it to me.
Listen, no one knows that it's me, though, okay? Or if they type 1G, then they'll know. No!
Rip.
Yo, I meant to double-click that, not right-click that. No.
Back to back, but he gets caught trying to trade out a gun. Fugly finding another one. Jason R trades it back, and now it's Summit in the 1v1 to try and close this out against Fugly. Fugly playing it aggressively now, but Summit's gonna clutch it, and Splice will close out map number 1, 16-11. Oh wait, what?
Okay then.
No. What happened? Oh no! Summit! No!
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah, they ended up losing this whole match and then got eliminated. And that would have been the W right there. You said that you and Erudite are still cool with each other. How does their situation differ to the other ones who wanted to do themselves? Anybody that made some massive fucking autistic spineless fuck speech about, oh, somebody's guy made a huge mistake and in 5 years, maybe it's fucking retarded, I don't care. cop massively outnumbered in teen fight. I don't think I care that much. Transcript went. Hopefully the next week or two. That's the dream. Maybe by this week. No, it's Thursday. Hopefully by Friday. Yeah, I'm so sorry, but I don't know. People should be making a bigger deal about that Texas thing. Like, this hits hard. Like, it should be a video of the Statue of Liberty and her corpse being like 9 months decayed, but doctors are pumping it full of, or she's on like fucking dialysis so she can give birth to some child. That's because that's unhinged. That's wild. The Texas stuff, that's just crazy. Oh, sorry, Georgia, not Texas. That's just a wild thing. How could you even begin to say anything about this? This is like literally some Handmaid's Tale type shit. But girl's neck gets broken in fight. Jesus. I'm going to try and communicate with my Republican colleagues in a new way. GOP's big ugly bill kicks people off healthcare and food assistance. Hospitals will close. Kids with disabilities will lose caregivers. Big winners, billionaires. Total fraud. It polls like garbage because it is. GOP should drop it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Cop almost loses her head.
Here it comes. Here he is, here he is.
Was that a close one? Also, holy shit. We have a door knock to... Hold on.
Here he is, here he is.
Person comes out. Flashlight in one hand. Lean over. This is why it's important, by the way, if you're a cop, or if you do anything, like, you should always practice shooting from the holster. Otherwise, how are you ever going to use it? This person must train a lot, I would imagine. But, like, relatively kept it cool. Drew her gun, aimed, shot, one-handed, flashlight in hand. This is a lot of... That was some wild shit. Jesus. This girl should go train the taser girl. What was the taser cop who... She thought she drew her taser, but it was just her gun?
Use your hands! Come on, show us your hands! Show us your hands!
I can't, I'm dead. Oh shit. Wait, what? Oh shit, sorry, my computer's muted over here. Hi, what's up?
Oh, hey, do you have a couple minutes before you do the Unfuck America shit?
What do you got for me?
Okay, I have well, this is generally just a PSA, but also an example of why we do it.
Okay.
So, it's an unwritten rule in the subreddit, and you've talked about it multiple times, that Nathan posting is not kosher.
True.
Doesn't matter if Nathan is memeing or doing whatever it might be. We do not allow it in the subreddit. It is under our personal drama rule. If you don't want your guys' kids being talked about in the subreddit, probably don't post about Destiny's Child in the subreddit. Not the group. You can
Why don't we
post
have?
about that all you want.
I feel like that should just be a rule. No.
I'm gonna add it after I do this.
Okay.
So we had a gentleman, I assume, post asking about Nathan yesterday. So I'm gonna send you a couple of things so you can kind of bring them up as we go.
Jesus.
Well, he complained about my moderation, and I told him that I would bring it to your attention so that you could tell me if I was wrong or not.
Okay.
So I think it'd be a good little
I feel
filler.
like it's just easy enough to say that, like, yeah, I don't. Like, there's a lot of people are very invested in the political outcome of my kid or whatever. Other people want to deal with that or post with that or whatever. But I'm not here to like publicly fight over or publicly litigate or I have zero interest in that. Like, enough of my personal life has already been dragged through different parts of the internet in the most disgusting way possible, and I'm not here to appease any random retard online that wants me to talk about, and my fan base included, to run through shit like that. If you want to go interact with him on his Twitter, you can go interact with him on his Twitter. That's on you. But I'm not here to have that be a huge part of my content. Yeah.
And you said that a bunch of times. Okay, so we temporarily banned this person for 7 days. You know, it's the first time they posted about Nathan. You know, maybe they didn't know. Maybe they're not a frequent subreddit user. Well, actually, I know that they're not a frequent subreddit user, but ban them for 7 days. So now I'm going to send you the mod mail message, and you can feel free to open this up. There's nothing in it that you can't show on stream. Oh, actually, I just sent you the same thing twice, I think. No, I didn't. So this is where I am going to stick to what I said, and you go ahead and read this, and you tell me if you think that I was over the top.
Hold on. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna throw this on stream, but
you can bring up this one.
Well, no, I don't know. I want to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. While he's reading it, though, we will be adding to the subreddit. Do not talk about Nathan on the stream. I don't know, or on the subreddit.
I love this guy's. I love this guy's demeanor, though. This is some Giga Chat. Fine, I accept your decision, but unban me. I won't be reposting the thread. Nice, Giga Chat. Okay. You can't just ban me because I disagree with your moderating decision.
I thought about saying au contraire, but I felt like that might be a bit much. That's too Reddit moderator, and I try to not be that bad. But I just thought it'd be a funny thing for you to read. I was hoping that you'd bring it up on stream, because one of the messages that I said was, if you don't think it's weird to be actively asking about a 14-year-old's Twitter profile and handle and tweets, then maybe you need to take a step back. And they didn't agree with that. And then they told me that it wasn't my job to worry about their interests.
Based.
So
I mean, like, to be fair to other people, like, I can understand there being an interest, right? For a variety of reasons. But I mean, like, who was that one Sophie girl that we debated? I'm pretty sure she was like fucking 15 or something. It's just, I would just rather not. I'm not here to do like that. It's just too much weird drama and too many weirdos that are online that are like obsessed with this particular line of dialogue. So I don't want. It's not going to be a part of my content. Yeah, but
okay. So I have one more thing. So this is how this person's gonna be banned forever. They're not gonna get unbanned.
Okay.
They are never being unbanned. Because this was their last post in the subreddit.
What is the point of, or what about this?
So you had made a meme. So they have a link in there.
No, yeah, I see it. But like, what is the?
That's really a money guy.
Yeah, or what are you asking
They're
about?
not a user.
Sure.
They're not a user that frequents the subreddit. So one of the reasons why I increased it to permanent is because when I looked at their profile, they're like the worst kind of person.
Yeah, this is
and so they're
this is like
definitely
a
not-
concern troll. You ask a question or whatever with the goal of just like yeah.
So, but yeah, we will be adding that. And I don't want to have to do a post about it. I think it's stupid to have to do a post about it. Don't talk about Nathan on the subreddit, guys. That's weird. Destiny told you guys if you want to interact with him outside of it, that's fine. We're just not opening up the large subreddit to litigating stuff about Destiny's teenage son. Bit weird.
Based.
But yeah, figured that'd be a quick little thing. You can watch officer involved shootings though.
Okay.
But yeah. Do you think I went over the top? This is for records for this guy.
The last one, the main head case guy or whatever?
Yeah, was my moderation overstepping, as they said?
What, no, if you ever see concern trolley stuff like this, you just permaban. This is like the easiest, most obvious permaban.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna clip this and send it to him, so because I'm petty.
Gotcha. All right, have fun, be careful.
Yeah, have a good day, buddy.